Do you sometimes feel all alone, like all the responsibilities fall on you? I think we all sometimes feel that way, and that's what we're going to talk about today on the podcast. Hi, I'm Heidi Cooper, and welcome to the Biblical Planning for Women podcast, where we get right into scripture and learn principles to help us steward our resources, steward our time, and manage our homes and families well. If you need some more help with that, I just want to tell you right out of the gate, I have a biblical planning starter kit with all kinds of resources, including an ebook called Planning with Purpose. There will be a link in the description for you to pick that up. I hope that will be a blessing to you. So let's go ahead and continue our journey through the book of Nehemiah as we learn from him how to build up our homes biblically. So Nehemiah, as we've learned in the last few episodes, he found out that Jerusalem the walls were broken down, they were unprotected, they were vulnerable. The first thing he did was go to Yah in prayer and seek wisdom and favor. He was able to get advice and help from the king that he served as a cupbearer under, and now he is back in Jerusalem. In our last episode, if you want to catch up, you can go ahead and listen to those. He went around quietly and surveyed the situation, took note of exactly what needed done, which is something that we as women need to do rather than just sitting and crying because we're like, I don't know what needs done. Actually, objectively look, write it down, see where things are at. Today, we're going to see where Nehemiah is. He has surveyed the wall, he has taken note of what needs repaired, and now he's going to the people living in Jerusalem and asking them for help. So I'm going to start reading in chapter 3, and bear with me, there's a lot of names, but it's with good reason. These were real people who lived lives, and they worked on this wall, and Nehemiah gives them credit. So I'm going to read 12 verses to you as they start building the wall. Then Eliashib, the high priest, rose up with his brothers the priests, and they built the sheep gate. They consecrated it and set its doors. They consecrated it as far as the Tower of the 100, as far as the Tower of Hananel. And next to him, the men of Jericho built, and next to them, Zakur, the son of Imri, built. The sons of Hassanah built the fish gate. They laid its beams and set its doors, its bolts, and its bars. And next to them, Meremoth, the son of Uriah, son of Hakaz, repaired. And next to them, Meshullam, the son of Berechiah, son of Meshezabel, repaired. And next to them, Zadok, the son of Baanah, repaired. And next to them, the Tekoites repaired, but their nobles would not stoop to serve their lord. Joiada, the son of Paseah, and Meshullam, the son of Besodeiah, repaired the gate of Yeshanah. They laid its beams and set its doors, its bolts, and its bars. And next to them repaired Melatiah the Gibeonite and Jadon the Meronothite, the men of Gibeon and of Mizpah, the seat of the governor of the province beyond the river. Next to them, Uzziel, the son of Harhaiah, goldsmiths, repaired. Next to him, Hananiah, one of the perfumers, repaired, and they restored Jerusalem as far as the broad wall. Next to them, Rephaiah, the son of Hur, ruler of half the district of Jerusalem, repaired. Next to them, Jediah, the son of Harumaph, repaired opposite his house. And next to him, Hattush, the son of Hashabniah, repaired. Malchiah, the son of Haram, and Hashub, the son of Pahath Moab, repaired another section and the Tower of the Ovens. Next to him, Shallum, the son of Halahesh, ruler of half the district of Jerusalem, repaired, he and his daughters. Now it goes on for the whole rest of chapter 3, but I'm going to stop there because, like I said, there is a lot of names. But first thing I want to point out, as we look at this idea of getting help, there were a lot of different trades of people that were involved. There was a perfumer, there were goldsmiths, there were rulers that all took part in building the wall. Even though that was not their trade that they were super skilled at, they still showed up and they helped. Now, as women, as we're looking at our homes and what needs to be done, and our first instinct is just to do it ourselves because we can do it faster, we can do it easier, we already know the systems. But that is not how we long-term keep things done. And I am definitely speaking to myself today because I have had seasons where I did really good at this and seasons where I did not. But we need to ask for help because you are not, unless you do live alone, but for the most part, most of us do not live in our houses alone. Other people share that home and the benefits of it, and they are perfectly capable of helping you to get things done. So if you'll bear with me in a few minutes here, I want to give you some practical ideas, some fun ideas to get the family involved because they should be involved. So, but first I just want to, from the chapter 3 in Nehemiah, there were lots of different types of people that were helping. And as we look at our family and asking them to help us with what needs done, don't assume that they can't do something. We can all learn how to do laundry, how to fix lunch, how to sweep a floor. These are all skills that they can learn. And I think we too often underestimate the abilities of our children and our husband, of what he's willing to do. I will give my husband credit. He does all the vacuuming and he thrives on it. Don't assume that you know what they can or cannot do, or are even like, I really enjoy that job. So don't underestimate them. Nehemiah could have said, oh, well, you're a goldsmith. You wouldn't be very good at building a wall. But the goldsmiths helped. The other thing I wanted to point out in verse 12, it says, Shallum, the son of Halohesh, repaired, he and his daughters. His daughters were right there with him, stacking those stones and building that wall. Our children should be involved in the work that needs to be done. And the other thing that's so key in the book of Nehemiah is nobody did a huge amount. They did what was across from their house, or they went from this section to this section, and they each were working simultaneously on different sections of the wall, and boom, that wall got built. We'll learn later, I believe it was 52 days that they were able to get that whole thing up and repaired and defensible again, because each one did the part right in front of them, and they were all working next to each other simultaneously to get the work done. And that is a model that we as women need to follow as we're setting up systems, as we're teaching our family how to do things. So let's get right into some practical tips, some fun ways that I have helped my children to get involved over the years, and I hope you can incorporate some of these ideas into your homes as well. The first one I wanted to share with you is a way to get prep day going faster. Now, we've talked so much about how wonderful the gift of Sabbath is and being able to take that day off and rest. But on Friday, we need to do a little extra to make that happen. So on Fridays, particularly when my children were younger, we would do a little game, and it was like a secret message. So let me explain to you what I did. I would take a piece of paper and I would pick a fun family movie that I thought they would enjoy watching on Friday evening. And I would take the title and turn it into basically Hangman, okay? And then every job done, I would make a list of jobs that needed done. Every job that got done, I would put a new letter in the secret message. So the more work they did, the closer they were to finding out what movie they were going to be able to watch that evening. It is so simple, but they had so much fun with that, and all those little tasks got done so much faster and more enjoyable because they had a little goal in mind. And it was nothing on me to work this up. You know, I didn't have to bribe them with treats or anything like that. It's just, we're going to watch a movie and here's the title. Really simple. So that is a fun way to make prep day go a lot smoother. Now that my children are older, and I mean quite a bit older, and they can do jobs independently and they know how to do it correctly because they've been taught over the years, what we have now is I made a deck of index cards. Each one has a job on it that I know needs to be done weekly or maybe a few times in a week. And they are just in a stack on my desk. And every day they're to pick a card and do that job. And then there's a little basket to put it in when it's completed. So that for the most part, all these tasks are at least getting done weekly. So that is another great way to just keep things moving. And it's not all on you as the mom. There are things that need to be on you, but not everything should be. They are adults in training. They need to know these skills, and you need help. So it's a win-win on both sides. And there's one other tip I want to give you as moms, to be delegating and spreading out the responsibility over your whole family. Actually, I have two tips. I just remembered the other one. But the first one is to teach your children independence. I do not do everything for my children, and I never did. They need to be learning how to do basic skills if they intend to be adults someday. The first thing is, I told my children quite young, and my husband helped me with this, I am not going to fix you breakfast and lunch every day. So they learned how to scramble or fry their eggs. They learned how to boil pasta. They learned how to make quesadillas. They learned how to prepare these meals at very young ages, so that now there's varying levels of skill, granted, but all of my children can prepare food. They can feed themselves. I am not going to be that, mother from the 80s that, is making her college kids sandwiches because they don't know how to do it for themselves. You are doing your children a disservice not teaching them these basic skills. I don't do my children's laundry. They have their own laundry basket. They take it to the laundry room when it needs done. They wash it, they dry it, they put it back in their room. That is a job that they can easily learn at a young age. Once they can reach the equipment, they can do those tasks. They can do the dishes, they can sweep. Teach your children how to do these jobs so that you can delegate them to them. And it's not, my children are like little slaves. No, they are learning how to be independent adults. Rephrase that in your mind if you're having kind of a bit of trouble, wrapping your brain around that. They need to know how to do these things. So you are teaching them so that it is just natural as they grow older. These jobs need done. They know how to do them. And then you are working together as a team, not just mom carrying all of the burden of everything, even though everybody lives in that house. So I just want to encourage you to take some of these tips and get your children involved in building up that wall that is your home. We all need to work together to get everything done. I know when I don't rely enough on my children, or I forget to we need to be on top of them and making sure tasks are assigned, things start falling apart. We need to work together. That's where our strength is. I mean, in Proverbs, it even says a single-stranded cord is easily broken, but you have 2 or 3 strands, it is not easily broken. As a family unit, we need to work together. It makes us stronger. It makes our home stronger. It makes everything work more smoothly. So I encourage you, that's your action step for this week. Put into action one of the things that I suggested, but delegate to your children. Start teaching them tasks, start assigning things, make it a game, whatever you need to do to spread out the burden so it's not just on you. All right, if you haven't gone down in the notes below the episode, be sure to download your Biblical Planning Starter Kit. And if you're able to leave a review where you're listening today, I would so appreciate it. It will help other women find the podcast so they can get some help with planning as well. And we'll see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. That's when we post a new episode. All right, bye-bye.